If you're looking into Lake Norman, this isn't one of those places where you just buy a house. You're buying the lifestyle. Space, privacy, water, community. It's one of those places where your boat's already in the dock, every weekend feels like vacation, and it's a community that actually makes everyday life better. I've worked with families coming from Florida, California, and New York, and this is the video I wish they had before they moved here, because when you're making this kind of a substantial investment, you deserve to know all the pros, all the cons, and everything that Lake Norman has to offer before we start the home search process. So let's discover the vibe and feel of lake life. This is lake living, but smarter. You get the water, the views, the lifestyle without the hurricane drama. It's a place people move to on purpose, not by accident. And during the week, it's calm and local. Weekends get lively. Now, most folks aren't buying a house, they're buying the whole experience, because it's not just a lake, it's a lifestyle. And depending on which side you're on, the lifestyle looks totally different. So let me give you a quick overview. On the east and southeast, so think Cornelius, Davidson, the peninsula, this is where the big dogs live. Gated communities, luxury schools, polished neighborhoods. Think Michael Jordan level prestige. Homes are 4,000 to 6,000 square feet with serious curb appeal, but it comes with traffic both for boats and cars. Everybody around here has a couple of boats, but on the west side of the lake, it's a little bit different, a little bit more wild, more space, more privacy, fewer rules. It feels a bit rural, but it still is very affluent, and it's great if you want land, quiet, and a little dirt without leaving the city too far behind or too far away. Now, on the north end of the lake, especially think Troutman, everybody kind of knows everybody, and I don't say it not in a bad way. It's more low traffic, peaceful, very community based, and it's a very cute small town too. Quiet luxury, but without the flash. It's ideal for people who want calm, space, and real exclusivity. But what is it really like to live here? Boating culture is huge on the lake, with many homes coming with deeded boat slips, even if they're not lakefront properties. Hosting is common. Your home becomes the destination for all your friends and family, and you get a mix of tranquility and access to Charlotte level amenities. So now that you have the overview, it's time to get into our first pro. If you want waterfront life without hurricanes or saltwater headaches, Lake Norman's got you. There's no hurricanes constantly threatening your home, unlike Florida, no saltwater erosion or corrosion tearing apart your dock like Malibu or Hilton Head, and no short-term rental chaos next door. Hello, Myrtle Beach. This is freshwater luxury, clean, calm, and exclusive. It's built for long-term living, not seasonal tourism. You get that on-the-water feeling without the insurance premiums, HOA madness, or rebuilding every storm season. And you're not dealing with hurricanes. It feels like the best parts of waterfront living, just smarter. But that kind of peace requires a substantial investment, because lake life's dreamy, but that dream comes with a hefty price tag. True waterfront homes start around 1.8 to 2.2 and go up from there, especially in desirable areas in the southeastern half of the lake. And waterfront closer to the north end is still easily 1.2 to 1.8 for anything really desirable, and even off-water, upscale, or luxury homes that come with a deeded dock or water view, you're looking at 800 at a minimum. And if you want a lot to build your dream house, get ready to invest 600 to 1.2 just for the dirt. There's no starter home on the lake here, because this is the largest, most desirable body of water in the Carolinas. Lake Norman is premium, and it knows it. If you want the most desirable waterfront, it starts just shy of 2 up to about 4 million. And some of the most unique and iconic properties here list for 10 to 15 or more. But honestly, people invest here because it's worth it. You're getting security. There's no major hurricane impacts or flooding, which I'll expand on that more here in just a moment. Plus the long-term value and lifestyle that's so hard to replicate. Still, you don't need to be right on the water to enjoy lake perks, especially when boat life is more accessible than you might think. If you're coming from Florida, Jersey, or Texas, say goodbye to flood zones and insurance stress. Lake Norman is dam controlled, so water levels stay stable year-round. No storm surges, no wild flooding, no disaster prep kits on standby, and no flood insurance required for 99% of the homes. You're just not buying lakefront, you're buying peace of mind compared to Florida with the sky-high premiums and constant storm threats. Or Lake Lanier in Georgia is another popular alternative people look at and decide not to go with because of the unpredictable water levels. It's known for flooding and also unfortunately known for how much trash and litter is there too. And one of my personal favorites, I love the Finger Lakes in New York. I used to live up there by them. The Finger Lakes, super clean and absolutely stunning, but they do freeze over every winter. And so if you're looking for that year-round outdoor lifestyle, Lake Norman is your best bet. Now, because the lake is dammed, it has a consistent water level that is managed by Duke Energy, so you don't need flood insurance, again, in 99% of the homes. Here, you actually get to enjoy the water and not worry about flooding. But if you're hoping to build brand new on this peaceful lake, good luck, because that brings us to con number 2. There's limited new construction here. It's not as easy as you think because land is scarce, especially near the water. What's left are odd-shaped lots or tear-down rebuilds, and so you can expect to pay $600,000 to $1 million plus just for the dirt. I just want you to be aware, you're not going to find a wide selection of land here easily, and for the land you do find, it's going to be priced like gold because you're buying into an established premium area, not a giant construction site. New builds do still exist. They're just either more towards the north end of the lake or off the lake. And I don't want to discourage you because there are some great value buys out there. It's just that many of them transact as private sales and never hit the public market or public home sites. And that's actually why I created the Lake Norman Homes watch list to give you access to price drops, off-market homes, and hidden gems that you don't find anywhere else. Links below. Go take a look. Now, luckily, you don't need new construction to live the lake life, and you don't even need a waterfront mansion to live the boat life out here either. Many homes around Lake Norman come with deeded boat slips, even if they're not right on the shoreline. Some neighborhoods have community docks or private marinas, and you can get lake access without spending $2 million plus for a waterfront lot. Now, many people think they have to be on the water to get a boat slip, and it's not true. There are tons of homes that come with deeded boat slips. It's one of the smartest ways to enjoy the lake if you don't have a more substantial budget to invest. Now, not every area around the lake hits the same, and some parts of the lake are overbuilt, overpriced, and underwhelming in my opinion. Cheryl's Ford, for example, exploded with development over the past few years, but I don't think it aged very well. There's a ton of builder-grade homes jammed in tight, and many of them ended up selling to rental portfolios, and it still is very overpriced and underwhelming, plus it's just far from the action. So personally, I really hate Cheryl's Ford, honestly. It feels more like it was a volume play for builders than a lifestyle area or community. But the good news is that it's just one slice of a huge lake, and that's actually one of Lake Norman's biggest strengths, is that every part of it offers a little bit something different that appeals to different people, different lifestyles, different stages of life. Now, every side of Lake Norman tells a different story, and you get to pick yours. The east side's more polished, high-end, and master planned. The west side is wild, wooded, with bigger lots and fewer rules. And the north is quiet, community-driven, and gives you a more laid-back pace. And the south end of the lake is very mature and established and has excellent accessibility. Different parts of the lake offer different lifestyles, and depending on what you choose, depending on the energy that you want, from country privacy to country club living, compared to other lakes where it's just water and houses, Lake Norman feels like a collection of curated moments and experiences, and each one of them has its own rhythm. But with more people and more access also comes more traffic. It's not just boat life, it's bumper to bumper boat life in some parts at some times of the year. Summers get hectic. Locals, tourists, and weekenders all pile in, especially on the southern end of the lake, where you see the worst of the traffic, both in terms of cars and boats, because everybody's got a boat, and they all hit the water at the same time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So weekends can feel like a floating highway, noisy, crowded, and slow. And some parts of the lake are also with an actual highway where cars are going over. And so it's just a lot. And beyond just the congestion on the water, getting to the lake, main roads like 77 or 150 back up, especially Fridays and Sundays. And some neighborhoods have only one way in and out, which makes it all worse. Now that said, it still is a lot better than coastal beach traffic. I'm looking at you, Myrtle Beach, and Charleston. And during the week, it's peaceful, calm, and mostly just locals. Plus, the lake is huge. You can always find a quiet cove if you know where to go. And speaking of weekdays, that's when Lake Norman really shows off its best side. The water here doesn't just look good, it stays clean and steady because Lake Norman is well managed by Duke Energy, and so the water levels stay very consistent. It doesn't get murky or gross during peak season, no random algae blooms, no smell, no surprise drops in depth, compared to other alternatives like Lake Lanier, which fluctuates in depth a lot, or the Finger Lakes, which freeze. This one's steady and usable pretty much year-round. It's clean, doesn't fluctuate much, it's consistent, and that's not true of a lot of other lakes. You get to actually use the lake, not just look at it. But while the water stays calm, the vibe can shift fast, especially when that weekend crowd rolls in. Locals enjoy peace and space Monday through Thursday, but come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Airbnbs, boat ramps, tourists all roll in. The lake gets loud, busy, and sometimes a bit chaotic, especially on that southern end, and quiet coves turn into booze cruise zones. Even grocery stores and restaurants can feel slammed because during the week, it's just locals, but on the weekends, it's flooded with tourists, Airbnbers, boaters. The vibe shifts quickly. It's not unbearable, but it's definitely a real shift in the energy. But that's also, it's a trade-off for living somewhere that people want to visit. You get a calm life most of the week, and if you plan around the rush, it's easy to dodge the chaos. And plus, some neighborhoods stay tucked away no matter the season, especially if you're looking for something more established, more private. There's great options. But that's Lake Norman. Calm, clean, luxurious, something for everybody with a few quirks. Just keeping it real. Nothing's 100% perfect. But I gotta be real. No single video is gonna tell you everything about anywhere, and picking the wrong house at this level, it's not just frustrating, it could be $1 million mistake. And I don't want you to end up stuck somewhere that looks good on paper but just doesn't feel right, doesn't feel like home. So if you're still exploring or need help narrowing things down, please reach out, book a quick 15-minute discovery call. It's free, it's no obligation, and I'll help you get a clearer sense of what actually could be the right fit for you here at the lake. Also, don't forget to check out that Lake Norman Homes watch list. It's packed with off-market finds and hidden gems that I'm tracking personally. That's it for right now. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.